Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Purrely Yugioh deck profile for post-Cyberstorm access. We got two new cards in the Cyberstorm access booster pack for Purrely, a new main deck monster and a new spell. They both definitely do help with the playstyle of the Purrely deck, which is to use your main deck Purrely monsters to overlay into rank 2 Xyz monsters through special summon methods using each of the individual monsters, and then stacking up quick play spells onto those Xyz monsters to gain additional card effects. A lot of people do have high hopes that this deck will be one of the top contenders for the meta game, so I definitely will also be considered playing it during the post-Cyberstorm access format. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the main deck monsters, we're running 3 copies of the original Purrely. If this card is normal or special summon, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated Purrely spell or trap to your hand. Also place the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. Once per turn during your main phase, you can reveal 1 Purrely quick play spell in your hand, special summon 1 Xyz monster from your extra deck that mentions that card by using this card you control as material, and attach the revealed card to the summoned monster, and it is treated as an Xyz summon. So you have your different Purrely monsters to then overlay into the needed Purrely monster depending on which Purrely spell you have, because cards like Purrely Plump use Delicious Memory, and then Purrely Beauty use Purrely Pretty Memory. So you have all of these monsters to utilize with the original Purrely, and that specific quick play spell that you run in the deck as well, depending on which one you want to summon out onto the field. So you definitely need 3 of the main deck Purrely. It's just your starter, along with the next monster that we also run in the deck. So definitely wanting to utilize this card for its search power. I would say one of the biggest weaknesses, obviously, to the deck is effect failure or any effect negation for this card, but you have other cards to at least access the extra deck as well to help get around this play. For the new monster, we are running 3 copies of Purrely with this card. If it's normal or special summon, add 1 Purrely card from your deck to your hand, except for a quick play spell. So with that, you get access to at least some of your other cards in the deck, like My Friend Purrely or the Field Spell. So you have those search options available to you, and you can target 1 Purrely quick play spell in your graveyard, special summon 1 Xyz monster that mentions it from your extra deck by using this face-up card you control as material. And if you do attach the target to the summoned monster as an additional material, this is treated as an Xyz summon. You can only use each effect of Purrely Lily or Purrely once per turn. So you have the play with your Purrely for being able to use your original Purrely for the main deck search and special summon, and then using those cards you may have set up in the graveyard for your Purrely to then be able to use those cards to go into additional extra deck plays depending on which quick play spell you used. For some more Xyz plays in the deck, I'm still trying out the 3 Nimble Beaver. This might turn into an extra deck or, hand trap option. You just need level 2 monsters to summon out your Purrely monsters through the generic way, and then you can use the quick play spells to attach onto them after you activate them. But still, Nimble Beaver giving you a special summon of another Nimble Beaver, and then having the last additional one to summon one from the graveyard at least makes all of the Nimble Beavers playable, as long as you don't open the multiple 2 in your hand for that one weakness to the card, but still very consistent to at least get you a rank 2 Purrely monster on the field. For the rest of the main deck monsters, just running a hand trap lineup, so 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring for the shutdown power to stop your opponent from searching cards or setting them up in the graveyard, and also 2 copies of Effect Veiler for more monster effect negation on the field, and 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird. I really do like the shutdown option. If you didn't want to run Droll and Lockbird, you can always try Nibiru as an added option to stop special summon plays for tributing them on the field. Droll and Lockbird just stops the copious amounts of searching your opponent may try to do with their own cards as well. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 copies of the continuous spell, My Friend Purrely. With this card, you can pay 500 life points, reveal 3 Purrely cards from your deck except My Friend Purrely, and your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to add to your hand. Also shuffle the rest into your deck. If a face-up Purrely Xyz monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, even during the damage step, you can add up to 3 Purrely quick play spells with different names from your graveyard to your hand. You're going to use each effect of My Friend Purrely once per turn, so you have have the Graveyard Search. You have a 500 life points search once per turn as well. Revealing them and then adding one to your hand gives you the option to reveal the 3 different quick play spells and then have the Xyz play depending on which Purrely card gets added to your hand with those quick play spells. And then the add back as well when that Purrely monster on the field leaves the field also. I also run 3 copies of Purrely Pretty Memory. Not only is it the quick play spell needed for your Purrely Beauty. With this card, each player gains 1,000 life points. Then you can apply the following effect. You can discard 1 card, and if you do, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. Or also a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card's material gains the following effect. Once per turn, you can send 1 other card you control to the graveyard to target 1 card your opponent controls and attach it to this card's material, giving you an extra material on your Purrely monster, and also being able to just have to send another card to the graveyard. So you have the resources to at least continue to take your opponent's cards, but also giving you easy access to the level 1 Purrely monster from your deck using this card also. Also running 3 copies of Purrely Delicious Memory, with this one being the one for Purrely Plump to summon out. We choose 1 monster on the field until the end of the next turn. It cannot be destroyed by battle. After choosing a card, then you can apply the following effect. Discard 1 card. If you do, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. And a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card's material gains the following effect. It gains 300 attack and defense for each material attached onto it. So you can really stack up the power with your Purrely cards using the different materials attached onto it and having Delicious Memory to power it up. If you have the needed amount, you can hit for a good number of over 2,000 with your Purrely gaining that attack and defense thanks to this card. We're also running 3 copies of Purrely Happy Memory, with this one needed for summoning out our Purrely Happiness. They all run together with the name of the Purrely monster in the extra deck as well. With Purrely Happy Memory, choose 1 card on the field until the end of this next turn. The first time it would be destroyed by a card effect, it is not destroyed. And then after choosing a card, you can apply the following effect. Discard 1 card, and if you do, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. And a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card's material gains the following effect. It can attack opponent's monsters up to the number of times each battle phase, up to the number of Purrely Happy Memory attached onto it. So if you have more and more Happy Memory, that's additional attacks that your Purrely monster on the field can use against your opponent as well. So each one brings a different kind of protection and power to your different Purrely monsters, whether it's a send power, a attack and defense boost power, or the number of times that that Purrely monster can attack on the field also. For our new Purrely Quick Play spell, we're running 3 copies of Purrely Sleepy Memory. Apply this effect, then you can discard 1 card. If you do, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. Once applied, the next battle phase or effect damage you take this turn becomes 0, and a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card attached to as material gains the effect. Once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, you can draw 1 card. So yeah, the more you have of your Sleepy Memories attached onto a Purrely monster, that's additional draw power that you can get as well. And just having a battle prevention is also a big plus using this quick play spell, and special summoning out a level 1 Purrely monster like the other cards do give you more and more of your setup for your monsters on the field. So even if you do have a negated Purrely monster on the field, you have other ones to easily special summon out with all of your quick play spells. For our field spell, we're running 1 copy of Stray Purrely Street, just because this card can also be searched out thanks to our Purrely. To add it to our hand, your opponent cannot target Purrely monsters you control with card effects. This turn, they are special summoned, and once per turn, if a face-up Purrely Xyz monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck or graveyard, and once per turn during the end phase, you can target 1 Purrely Xyz monster on the field, attach 1 Purrely Quick Play spell from your deck or graveyard to that monster as material, giving you more of a search during the end phase each turn, needing that specific quick play spell you may have and attaching it on to your Purrely Street. Like I said, we're only running the 1 copy of this card. It's really all we need with our Purrely, being able just to add the card from our deck to our hand, and then when we have that 1 card, we have our setup on the field ready to use with our Purrely Xyz monster. And most of the time, they will want to go after our Xyz monster that we're building up in the field, then try to destroy the field spell. For the rest of the spells in the deck, I also run 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent, just with this card being a big plus. If our opponent were to shut down our Purrely monster we summoned on the field with a hand trap, we can at least respond with Triple Tactics Talent and then gain an additional draw or our opponent's resource, or taking a card out of their hand also. And 1 copy of Called by the Grave for more graveyard shutdown of any of our opponent's monsters they may try to use. And then for the traps, I run 2 copies of Purrely Yugioh. Target 1 Purrely Yugioh monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck 1 Purrely Yugioh monster with a different rank by using that monster's material, but return it to the extra deck during the end phase of the next turn. This is treated as an Yugioh summon. Transfer its materials to the summon monster, and you can banish this card from your graveyard to target up to 3 Purrely monsters in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. You can only activate 1 Purrely Yugioh per turn. It has the recycle power. It also has just the setup of a special summon from your extra deck of a Purrely Yugioh monster with a different rank, meaning we can go into our bigger Purrely monsters, whether it be Purrely Happiness or our Purrely Noir. We have both of these to use with the trap as well for the summon onto the field, or just the normal Xyz way with them, but this is just a better way to get those boss monsters out and then have an additional resource in the graveyard as well. That is it for the Purrely traps. We're also running 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence just for a hand trap option if our opponent does go first against us. We have plenty of hand trap monsters, but just relying on 3 Infinite Impermanence as well. There really aren't too many Purrely main deck monsters, so we filled it up with the hand trap option because it can still remain pretty consistent as long as we have that 1 answer quick play spell or Purrely monster to set up our initial play. Moving on now to the extra deck, I run 2 copies of Purrely Plump. Once per turn, you can target up to 2 spell or traps in the graveyards and attach them to this card's material. This quick effect, and also if it has Purrely Delicious Memory attached to it, and up to thrice per turn, when you activate a Purrely quick play spell card, you can attach this card on the field to this card's material. Then you can banish 1 monster on the field until the end phase. So the Delicious Memory is the card that you special summon out with your Purrely Plump, and then attaching the Purrely monster and that quick play spell to it as additional material, and then just having the additional play to take a monster on the field and banish it if we do have that quick play spell, which most of the time we will have on this monster to begin with. Also 2 copies of Purrely Beauty. Once per turn, targeting an effect monster you control and negate its effects until the end of this turn. It's an effect monster your opponent controls, remember that. And this is a quick effect if it has Pretty Memory as material, and up to thrice per turn when you activate a Purrely quick play spell, you can attach that card onto it as material. So you have the up to thrice per turn when you activate any of your Purrely cards with your extra deck monsters. So remember that as well as being able just to use this times 3 and attach all those materials onto it. So along with the 2 you had from your Purrely monster and the quick play spell you initially attached, you'll have the 3 more. So you a good amount of times could have 5 material by the end of the turn on your Purrely monster, or even more with that play. We're also running 2 copies of Purrely Happiness for the play at the end of damage step. If it battled, you can add 1 Purrely card from your deck to your hand. If it has Pretty Happy Memory as material, you can half the attack when face a monster on the field, and up to thrice per turn when you activate a Purrely quick play spell. Quick effect, you can attach that card onto this card as material, and you can return 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls to the hand. So being able just to bounce that card 3 times per turn and attach those material is just the setup we had with Beauty and Plump as well. We're also running 2 copies of Purrely Noir. You can also see some of this card by using a rank 2 monster you control with 5 or more material. Transfer the material to this card. It's unaffected by your opponent's activated effects while it has 5 or more materials, and you can detach 2 from this card to target 1 card your opponent controls or in the graveyard and place it on the bottom of the deck. This is a quick effect if it has a level 1 Purrely monster as material. So with this card being able to as well, just detaching, as long as you have those 2 materials, you can spin multiple cards of your opponents back to the bottom of the deck, making Purrely Noir a definite staple in the deck, just with all the consistency it has now, just to set up a very Towers-like monster on the field and a more difficult one to get around since it's unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Also, the 1 copy of Purrely Happiness, having the same Xyz summon using a rank 2 monster with 5 or more materials, and you can detach 1 from this card to negate the effects of all face-up monster your opponent currently controls to the end of this turn. Your opponent cannot activate card or effects in response to this card. If it has a level 1 monster as material, when its attack is declared involving this card, you inflict 1500 damage to your opponent. I would say Noir is definitely one of the better cards, just as a way to take care of your opponent's own resources. You have Purrely Happiness is just an added backup, depending on if you wanted to go for more of the offensive play against your opponent also. For more of the generic Xyz monsters, 1 copy of Ensemble Robin and 1 Assembled Nightingale. It happens at times when the effects are negated, if you can at least get your other level 1 monster on the field to overlay into a usable Xyz monster, which you can then also overlay into Downward Magician and then into Zeus to have a bigger boss monster that can clear the field also, with the same premise being for our Link monsters, which we're running 1 Link Karibo and 1 Relinquished Anima. For both of the Link options, either take a resource from our opponent or stop an attack that they may have using one of our Link 1 monsters, Link Karibo also. As for some of the go-to plays in the deck, it all comes down to the setup. You can use your Purrely as the additional starter when it's normal special summon, then adding an excavated Purrely spell or trap from your hand, also placing the rest on the bottom of the deck. So depending on which Purrely card you get, you then can use the other effect of it once per turn during the main phase to reveal Purrely quick play spell in your hand and special summon one Exceeds monster from your X deck that mentions that card. So since we have Happy Memory, you will go for Purrely Happiness, overlaying it onto this card as well. And then with this card, if it battles, it adds a Purrely card, or you can go for the search when you activate a Purrely quick play spell. So you'll have the additional play depending on which other Purrely card you activated on the field, and then being able to 3 times per turn attach onto it as well. So also having the protection effect of that card, but also giving you another special summon, so you can use that additional special summon to summon out another Purrely monster onto the field, being the new Purrely Lily. If you have the graveyard play, you can add the Purrely quick play spell from your graveyard to this card as well, and then go for the Xyz plays just with more of the graveyard setup using your Purrely monsters. And then, like I said before, with the added buildup of up to thrice per turn on your Purrely monsters, if you do go for the additional materials on those monsters with each attach, if you get 5 finally on your Purrely monster, you'll be able just to overlay into your bigger X Purrely monster, and then from there have enough materials to detach 2 each time to return a card on your opponent's field whenever they try to set up something on their field against you. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Really happy with the new support we got. The fact that it was all common as well from the Cyberstorm access makes it that much more affordable, since a lot of the other Purrely cards were not so affordable. They're definitely, you know, up in price, but just a kind of breather, I would say, for people who had the deck and didn't want to keep spending more and more money for this one Yu-Gi-Oh deck. And that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll definitely be doing more deck profiles from the Cyberstorm access, so look forward to it. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.